When my covert narcissist ex-wife attacked me and then called the police and lied so easily, saying that I attacked her, there is a very drastic shift in both of our futures. Very positive for me, very negative for her. You see, when she did that, she released me as far as psychologically from ever helping her in the future. Now, though the relationship was very one sided and she benefited a great deal, as a matter of fact, I had a pro versus con list that was an app. And I had one list as far as the pros and cons of the relationship. And I got nothing but cons. And when I would put something in pro, I would look at it and be like, that's really not a pro. That's just a thing that's not extremely negative. And by the end, there was just really no pros, at least not from her. But there were some pros like taxes and stuff like that, things that weren't really meaningful. But it's like, okay, I have to find something to put in the pro category. So this, to me, very meaningless thing has to go in there. Now, when it came to relationships, or the relationship, as far as from her view, as far as the pros for her, there were many pros. There were over 100. And when it came to cons, there was simply nothing. Every con that my ex-wife would mention was something she was just creating for self-pity. So let's say she grabs something, she gets something she wants, she breaks it and says, look at this terrible, terrible thing, it's broken. Don't you feel so bad for me? It's not my fault that I chose to break this when you told me not to. It's like, okay, so that's not a con for you. You got the thing, you wanted to use it for sympathy, you wanted to break it, and now you did that and you're using it, but that's not a con. That, as a matter of fact, that would be a pro. I didn't put that in pro, but it would be a pro for her. Then my relationship with her, I could not find any pros, and there was a lot of cons. Now, under pros and cons, how I did it was pro was things I got from her, cons was resources I put into her. And again, there were over 100 cons and no pro. One pro was every once in a while she would cook and her food was good. That was it. And she wanted to cook because she knew I liked to cook, but it was just something she requested. So that was a pro for her. So once I was, I'll say, released from her, but it's almost as though she did not realize she released me. And then I was like, I have to escape this person. I did, I escaped. Once she did that, I finally had no feeling of ever having to be there for her in the future. I know guys who've been married and divorced, and for years continued to give their ex wife money. And with every single one, it's because the ex wife chose not to work. And that's how it is with my ex wife. She always chose not to work, not to be an adult. And that is her situation. And when I got away and did not give her any of my money or anything, and started making money at my job again so I could finally save up enough to get back home to California. I mean, that's just wonderful. I'm really looking forward to it. I really am. But on her end, now she needs to pay those bills. See, I felt obligated to continue to help her, especially for me to provide the funds for a lawsuit for a company that committed fraud and put a roof on her house. She had a good roof, and we were putting a better roof on the house in order to rent it out. Which later on she said she never wanted to rent it out and blah, 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 and started blaming me for that. That's what it's like with the covert narcissist. They'll want something to happen, make it happen, then blame you and say they never wanted that. It's really just mind-boggling because you will tell them it's like, okay, when you do this, do not come back and say that you didn't want it, and don't say that I did it or anything and pushed you against your will. I don't want to hear that. I want to do this. Then they do it. They do that anyway. So it's really just, whew, it is just mad making. It truly is. So she did not get that attorney. She could not afford the attorney anymore. I did not give her money or give that attorney money in order to keep the lawsuit going because I was filing for bankruptcy anyway. And I could not be on her lawsuit. It was extremely beneficial for her because that lawsuit went up to many, many tens of thousands of dollars that would be very beneficial for her that she needed. But again, she sabotaged it, threw it all away. And now it looks like she's losing her house. That's what I'm picking up from other people who've contacted me thinking that I still live with her, that it's her phone number. And she is, what is that called? You reap what you sow, and she's reaping what she sowed right now. A covert narcissist can only sabotage themselves so much until the amount of destruction they cause to themselves in order to obtain pity will reach a point of so much destruction, they will realize that they've ruined their life and their future. And I believe that that's what's happened to her. You know, Dr. Romney was on a live the other day with another gentleman. I forget his name. I didn't record it. I hope she posted it because I want to follow him as well. And I asked the question. As far as what is comparable to a healthy-minded person when it comes to the feeling of loss that a narcissist feels when their victim has escaped them. I really want to know, you know? And the answer was good. It was elaborate. It was detailed. It was very good information. And then the gentleman, the guest, he said that whenever anyone asks him, though, as far as a little bit of a different subject, which loss is the greater loss? His answer is your loss because it's yours and you're you. It is your loss that is greatest. It is your loss that matters most. And I thought, oh wow, he's right. Here I've been trying to understand how a narcissist can do what they can without feeling, and what do they feel, and their feeling of loss when they, you know what I mean? But also it was nice because Dr. Romney answered as far as how the loss, they lose their control, they lose their supply, and they do mourn that loss of that. But it made me feel a lot better. I guess all I'm trying to say is this. Now my thought, welcome back. to Stark Industries. So, no, no, the Stark Expo. Anyways, Iron Man 2. Great opening. Anywho, what I was saying is, it is nice that I don't have to give her any of me, any of my resources, any of my time, any of that anymore. And though she is a narcissist and cannot feel lost in the same way, she does feel that loss now, and it actually is affecting her because she pushed the boundaries too far, and she pushed her sabotaging of her own life much too far. And now I'm moving on with a very bright future. I don't know where hers is headed, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be bright. But again, that's a covert narcissist for you. But all right, I need to pull up here and check on my load. Catch y'all later.